There was a time when a Keycult board meant four things: perfect machining, the holy grail of a custom mechanical, insane prices, and no chance of buying one. And now, you can get a brand new Keycult that is in stock and for under $300, but the brand image has become highly controversial. So how did we get here? How did Keycult, that once used to represent the pinnacle of mechanical keyboards, become a ruined king now? It feels like Keycult is at a pivotal crossroad. Will this be its rebirth or the beginning of the end? And at the very center of this crossroad is the Keycult ZERO. Hey everyone, welcome back to Scoop Bar. Today we're checking out Keycult's most surprising release to date, the ZERO. It's a modular 60%, available in stock, and it is the most affordable Keycult product ever made. And while the build is fun, what really matters is what it represents. Keycult has always been about prestige, but now they're at a crossroads. So in this video, we're going to walk through where they've been, what the ZERO actually is, and where they might be going next. We've also got a few test builds to show how this thing sounds in real-world configurations. Let's get started. To break down who Keycult is and what the ZERO really represents, we've got to look at it in three parts: the rise, the fall, and the pivot. Keycult began in Raleigh, North Carolina, ramping up operations in 2018 as a small passion project from a group of enthusiasts. Their first board, the #1 TKL, was released in a private group buy in 2017, setting the tone for the ultra high-end, small batch, obsessively machined keyboards. The public revised version, the #1 Revision 1 TKL, launched in 2019 at $515 with a production run of only 80 units, mostly sold by raffle, making it extremely difficult to obtain. Then came the #2 65, which saw demand explode, with raffles selling out instantly and aftermarket prices skyrocketing, cementing Keycult's status as the grail brand in the keyboard community. Keycult became known for its flawless machining, impossibly small production runs, and a mystique that made people need one. Then in 2020 came the defining moment. Tfue, one of the biggest streamer on Twitch, featured an eye-watering $3,500 Keycult build on Teja Type's stream, and overnight, Keycult became a niche legend to global hype. And they rode that momentum into opening their own workshop with their own CNC machines to bring manufacturing in-house, and on paper, that was the dream. Full control, custom everything, machining precision dialed to 11, but that decision will come back and bite them hard. Keycult shifted toward private, bespoke commissions, case-only builds that will cost over $2,000 with multi-month lead times. But then, COVID pandemic shocked the supply chain and everything slowed down. Machining issues ate up time and money, staff bandwidth got stretched thin, communication flatlined, missed updates, ignored emails, radio silence on Discord. 6-month estimates ballooned into 18, 24-month delays. People waited over a year for boards only to receive units with visible flaws, misaligned weights, or anodizing issues. And not even A-stock boards were safe. And as backlog piled up, Keycult was still teasing out new projects, new designs, new commissions, all the while hundreds of customers were still waiting for boards they already paid for. And that's when the trust was broken. Reddit threads started popping up, people accusing Keycult of running a commission scam. Not because they were malicious, but because they were overwhelmed and just stopped communicating. In 2023, the backlog finally started to clear. Some people got their boards while others didn't. But by that point, the momentum was gone. Keycult needed a reset. So, they made a deal with Novelkeys. Keycult would handle design and finishing decisions, while Novelkeys would take over everything Keycult has struggled to manage. Sourcing parts, maintaining quality control, running logistics, and handling customer support. And the goal in all of this is to establish consistency, accessibility, honestly, stability even, and ultimately the trust that Novelkeys has garnered from the community over the years. Later that year, Novelkeys started selling in-stock Keycult boards, the #1 TKL, then the 265, and eventually the Darling themed 1800 layout. And then in March 2025, the real test arrived, the Keycult ZERO, the first all-new Keycult model since 2019. No more limited drops, no more commission slots, just a board for sale right now. And that brings us to today, where Keycult is at a real crossroads. Do they become a modern, scalable keyboard company, or does this pivot chip away that made them who they are in the first place? The ZERO is a case study, so let's talk about it, what it is and why it matters. The ZERO is a modular 60%. It's got a swappable base, tray, and accent bar, all a la carte. You can build it light with cork, or heavy with full aluminum, or somewhere in between with the silicone base. And the styling? Pure Keycult. Signature curves, top bar flare, clean anodizing, plus smart layout modularity thanks to the interchangeable accent bar system that supports when key, when keyless, and HHKB tops without needing a new case. The typing angle is 6%, and the mount uses gasket socks. Firmer than the older sandwich style gaskets. You do also get a locked 7U bottom row, which might annoy some purists, but honestly, it helps maintain layout compatibility. The price ranges from $195 to over $265, and this time no raffle. It's on the shelf, fully accessible, both in terms of pricing and availability. When it comes to the build and feel, despite its flexibility, the ZERO feels pretty stiff. Even with soft plates or bases, the gasket sock system doesn't give much flex. It's not bad, it's just unexpected. And I will say this board goes for consistency instead of bounciness. We started with a fairly standard build, Cherry MX Black on an aluminum tray, cork base, and aluminum plate. Here's what it sounds like compared to our control board, the Neo65 Cu, built with the same switches. So what do you think? This configuration sounds pretty different from the Neo65 Cu. Let's try something new and see how the ZERO responds to a change in components. And this is where the ZERO starts to show what it can do. Try a different tray or swap out the base. There are a lot of different parts where it allows you to fine-tune the sound, the feel, and the aesthetics to whatever you like. We rebuilt it with MX Black on a silicone base and aluminum base. Both have a little bit more mass than the cork. Here's the side-by-side comparison, same switches. Same switches, different base materials. And listen carefully. Can you tell the change in sound with the change of the base material? Which one do you prefer? And build-wise, everything is pretty user-friendly except for one thing. There are so many screws. At least they're magnetic, so it's got that going for it. Just make sure you don't over-tighten the mounting brackets, you'll kill the feel of the switch, and if your accent bar rattles, use the fatter screw. Chances are you're using the wrong screw. Now, I love the ability to swap from 1 key to 1 keyless to HHKB layouts with just the accent bar. No new top needed, just one part to change. And yes, the finish is excellent. Our unit came flawless, and that's saying something given to the price point and production volume. However, I do think the rubber blocker could use a little bit of a redesign. Perhaps anchoring it to the layout bar will make adjustment a lot easier. Also, I get the premium box has been the Keycult tradition, but personally, I don't need another pretty box. I much prefer a carrying case. What do you think? Do you prefer the signature Keycult box or an updated carrying case for easier storage? Now, to change things up even more, I wanted to see how this board would sound and feel without a plate. So we stripped out the plate and ran a plateless build with MX Black with the cork base. Here's how that sounded compared to the same switches with cork and aluminum plate combo. Honestly, this plateless cork build ended up being my favorite. And it just shows you how far you can push the sound and feel just by mixing and matching parts without the need to buy an entirely new case. From aesthetics to feel to acoustics, the Zero's modularity allows you to really make this board your own. The accent bar changed the look and the layout, where the tray and the bases changed the feel and the tone. So if you're looking to experiment with all the possible components, you're looking at 6,480 unique combinations. And that's not counting switch choices and keycap choices. So where does Keycult go from here? Keycult made their name by being untouchable. Their boards weren't just hard to get, they were elite. Flawless machining, no compromises, no shortcuts. And the Zero isn't that. It's a calculated trade, exclusivity for stability. And I think for most people that's a win, but for some longtime fans, the collectors, the grail chasers, and dare I say, the flippers, this feels like a step down for them. And you see it in Discord servers and Reddit, lower resale values, comment about finishing quality not being what it once was, the availability is tarnishing the brand. So where does Keycult go from here? That's the question, right? The Zero proves it can scale, but we're still waiting to see if they can still innovate, still lead in the high-end space. They need a new flagship, something risky, something innovative. Because the real test now isn't about machining or marketing, it's about whether Keycult can still earn back trust. And not just through aesthetics, but through consistency, transparency, and support. So if you're new to customs and want a buildable, flexible platform that looks high-end, this is a great starting point. If you always wanted a Keycult but never wanted to chase a raffle or flip your rent to get one, the Zero is for you. But if you're still chasing the old Keycult magic, perfection at all costs, you might want to wait and see what comes next. The Keycult Zero is solid. It's well made and I love its modularity. And functionally speaking, as a product, it works well. And it signals a new direction for the brand. It's well designed, it's versatile, and it's the most accessible thing Keycult has ever made. But it also raises a question. When a brand built on prestige opens the gates and becomes more accessible, does it evolve or just dilute? The Zero is a good board, but whether it marks Keycult's rebirth or slow fade depends on what they do next and how the community responds. Depends on how you respond. So what do you think? Is the Zero a fresh start for Keycult or just a safer step down? Drop your thoughts in a comment because we're always reading and love your feedback. And if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe and stick around for more keyboard content from Scoop Bar. We've also got a list of affiliate links in the description, some with discount codes that'll save you a bit, and they give us a small kickback too. It's a simple way to support the channel and help us keep making content like this. Love you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.